Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today, I'll be reacting to the entirety of Annie DiFranco's Tiny Desk concert. I love Annie DiFranco and I love the Tiny Desk concert, so it kind of feels like a match made in heaven. And particularly with the Tiny Desk concerts, there's a lot less production, right? It's just a few instrumentalists, or even in the case of, I saw Dave Matthews one, just one performer in this quaint setting. Not a lot of pre-processing, not a lot of post-processing. It is the sound that they produce on that day, in that moment. It's very real, and with Annie DiFranco, we know just how real she is, so it just feels to me like a match made in heaven. I couldn't be more excited for this reaction today. But before diving in, let us please thank Gila the Melodic for making this donation request today. As always, Gila, it is much appreciated, and I hope all is well with you. Now, let's jump in. That's a cool chord. I like that progression a lot, actually. Ah. Oh. A bit funky, no? This is the song Dithering.
So many things to name, so many things to know the name of, so many ways to classify into different and the same of, so many stories to read just to be considered up to speed. You got to start when
This information overload, of course, being in the information age where everything is readily accessible, you're expected to know everything instantaneously and at all times, and if you don't, you're not well connected. But we all have finite capacity. We need to show ourselves a little bit more grace.
just to be considered up to speed. You got to start when you're a baby. Around everything goes the frame of. Mama, look at this headline. They say we're getting dumber. They keep running and tests on stuff and coming out with new bummers. Remind me to quit my job, say farewell to it all. Remind me to plant those sunflowers along the south wall.
Wow, what a harmony. Love this harmony. You know, this song makes me think of so many different things at once, but one thing to certainly consider is with new technologies, there are trade-offs. It is not all positives as it's made out to be. And one example I can paint is, let's say, automatic driving cars. Well, if there are automatic driving cars en masse and that becomes the norm and we don't have a need for physical drivers, then what happens to the industry of truck drivers, for example? It pretty much goes away entirely, and now all of those people are structurally unemployed. So if you think about it, there are certain pieces of information that can change your life and become life altering, and with the rapid development of technology, it feels like you have to constantly be at the bleeding edge of whatever is going on, lest you fall behind. And the thing is, the consequences in a hyper-capitalistic society of falling behind are so dire. It feels like, yes, humans don't have the capacity for this infinite knowledge dump, but we're being forced to, I guess, evolve in that direction. And those who are not able to deal with this information overload at all times are going to fall behind. And it's very scary to consider what's possible because of how much there is out there. And with so many choices as well, it produces a lot of indecision, which I believe is literally the definition of dithering. A lot of interesting times that we live in, that's for sure. Let's keep going.
I got a database around my face of dithering information. Ask me anything about anything. I got a lot of shit in rotation. I got a lot of shit in rotation.
We shouldn't be responsible to know everything all the time. It's completely unreasonable. Oh, I like that chord progression.
I got clutter in my closet, clutter on my bed, clutter in the office, clutter in the shed, and I can't find a thing in all that is confusion. I can't think a thought all the way to its conclusion.
That harmony is so satisfying to me.
I got a database behind my face of dithering information. Ask me anything about anything. I got a lot of shit in rotation. I got a lot of shit in rotation.
Super cool. And it kind of reminds me that we live, especially in the West, in this grind culture, but again, it's all propped up by a broken capitalistic system that forces us to have to rewire our brains in favor of endless production rather than maximizing our own humanity. And one of the psychological tricks that are played on us to motivate the production side of what society looks like is the idea that our existence needs to be justified by our productivity. And if we're not achieving something within this structure, that we are failing as humans. We are not doing our part. We are not remaining within our agreement of the social contract, which is a tacit agreement. And because we've structured our society this way, it comes with it the trade-offs. We have productivity, we have quality of life improvements in one direction, but we also work ourselves to the bone in the other direction. And there's a balance that needs to be struck such that, yes, society is improving markedly, but the individuals that are helping build and construct that society are not suffering endlessly either. And I get that it's subjective from person to person to person, and it will feel more problematic for one individual more than another, But if we do live in a society that relies on one another, that depends and boosts others up, then we ought to find where our best fit is rather than being forced to find productivity out of the lack of resources available to us. A lot of people have to work terrifying hours just to put food on the table, and they have no actual care for the work that they're doing themselves, so there's no congruence of identity with the productivity. And if you detach a human's identity as a person from what they're able to produce as well, then it feels like the majority of your life is being slaved away doing something you don't want to be doing. And for me, this is a very salient point. I've made a promise to myself, I don't want to do things that are soul sucking. And that may mean something different for me than it does for you, but I just want to be me, and I don't want to sacrifice that aspect of myself. And maybe that's a very privileged thing to say because of how many people are suffering out there. And I hope we can move society in a way that allows people to express themselves in the ways that they choose and still be able to live, because humans just deserve to live and be happy. Let's keep it going.
Thanks, you guys. I thought maybe that was one you could relate to. I would like to say, Goddess bless NPR. I'm so happy you guys do what you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
And what
harmonics.
else do I want to say? With my 15 minutes. I guess I want to say, I don't know, I could talk all day about this next song, which is about reproductive freedom, but I won't talk all day.
What song is this? Play God?
We'll play.
Oh, Play God, okay. And there's a Polyphia song also called Playing God, but it's just pure instrumental.
But I think
but interesting that she's playing natural harmonics here, because in Playing God by Polyphia, there's a whole hell of a lot of those natural harmonics.
Reproductive freedom is a civil rights issue, and that's where this next song is coming from. You know, civil rights, like the basic stuff you need to be free in society. And I think
this also may be a hot take, but I think the structure of society, its existence, means you're technically not free. Technically.
You know, fascism is here. Wars are perpetual. Racism is still all over everybody. And I see this outdoor, and I see reproductive freedom as the key. You know, because you gotta have that to get women at the table, at the design table. That's, you know, when it's time to design government and culture and society, we gotta have the genders in that resonant balance. So, reproductive freedom, first step to world peace. I know I'm a weirdo. That's how I look at it. And I think peace is a function of balance. You know, so if we can go all the way back and address that fundamental imbalance of patriarchy, I think we can start on the path out of here. So that's kind of where this song is coming from. Thanks for the opportunity.
I love that idea of the balance. It takes mutual reciprocity and understanding and care to design society that emboldens everyone, not just one class or one gender, one sexuality.
I was done at 16, showing up for class. I was out there in the rain, learning how to kick some ass. I was done at 16, using my mama's key. It was all on me.
I was done at 16.
It was all on me. Weren't no free I paid my dues, and I showed up to enlist on the first day of recruit.
It's so interesting that she's opted for like a funky sort of style with the band and opted for less riffage in the acoustic guitar, which we all know Annie is really good at spamming the acoustic guitar.
How about you? How about you? And I'm my brother's keeper every chance I get. And I pay my taxes like any working man. And I feel I've earned my right to choose. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You get to run the world in your special way. You get much more than your say. Government.
Like the disproportionate wealth, the disproportionate representation, and then getting things your way versus being able to restrict others from getting theirs. There's fundamental differences in being granted rights versus already having them and being able to enforce them yourself. When the system has to be structured where one group has to ask for the rights from another, that tells you the potentially implicit errors in that system. Now, with a democracy and a government that we have, like a constitutional republic, essentially, there are iterative changes, but if your baseline where you start at is not one that actually is equitable, then you have to fight that uphill battle. And sometimes representative democracies are not necessarily representative, which is a very, very hard issue to parse.
Religion, it's all just patriarchy. I must insist you leave it one thing to be. Oh, oh, yeah, one thing to be. Oh, oh, yes, one thing to be. Oh, oh, yeah, leave this one thing. 'Cause there's one thing that a man needs to be truly free. This is the modern world, and that one thing is money. But there are two things.
Yeah, because when everybody is like debating each other on these like social and cultural issues, the real issue is that like the middle class is being squeezed out, and we have more and more and more wealth inequality to the point that we are going to literally become indentured. Is the term indentured slaves or indentured we're going to find ourselves in indentured servitude. One of those things. It's not good. We don't want that reality.
That a woman needs
day on, year on
control
happening.
Over her own body. I pay the price on top of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Each month a bill, each month a record name.
Yeah.
And each seed that dies, I cry and I bleed. So you can't tell me, no, you can't tell me. Yeah, I am a soldier, it's my
So
blood
soulful.
that flows. I'd give my life so that this tree can grow. You don't know creation like I know, so you can't tell me, no, you can't tell me, you can't tell me, yeah, you can't tell me. You get to run the world in your special way. You get much more than your say. Government, religion, it's all just patriarchy. I must insist you leave it one thing to be. Oh, oh, yeah, one thing to be. Oh, oh. chance I can. And I pay my taxes like any working man. And I feel I've earned my right to choose. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do.
Super tight performance.
All right.
Very catchy as well. Great message. And she comes from such a loving place, right?
I never play a guitar twice. Oh, the fingers. You like it's my one-handed fashion statement. I got fake nails that I pick with. Plastic, they're super glued on there, and I also get a little bloody sometimes when I'm, and the strings can get caught behind the nails, so a little protection. Yeah, right, ladies? Yeah. Yeah, that's what that's about. But let me introduce my friends. My favorite drummer in the world, Mr. Terrence Higgins. My wonderful friend Jenny Scheinman on the violin, singing.
And backing vocals.
And New Orleans musical royalty, Mr. Ivan Neville on the keys.
Ivan Neville.
Well, what a pleasure. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with us here. We'll play you one more.
Swan Dive.
Older tune. It's kind of like an early attempt at a happy song for me. It's hard. It's hard.
Wow, what an interesting rhythm. It's like the accidental into the actual pitch, but it works as the rhythm too.
Cradling the softest, warmest part of you in my hands. Feels like a baby bird falling from the nest. I think that your body is something I understand. I think that I'm happy. I think that I'm blessed.
I'm so impressed with the vibrato. And to do this while she's playing this complicated rhythm is so cool.
I've had a loss of perspective. I've had a little bit to drink. And it's making me think that I can jump ship and swim, that the ocean will hold me, but there's got to be more than this boat I'm in. 'Cause they can call me crazy if I fail. All the chance that I need is 1 in a million, and they can call me brilliant.
The violin there.
If I succeed, but gravity is nothing to me. I'm moving at the speed of sound. I just wanna get my feet wet here till I drown.
Yeah. Diving headfirst into reality and the unknown, right? Oh. Wow. Whoa. I love what Jenny's doing here on the violin, almost like creating these very brief moments of horror somehow. I think that's the best way I can put it in this mix. It's cool sound effects for sure.
And I teeter between tired and really, really tired. I'm wiped and I'm wired, but I guess it's just as well. 'Cause I built my own empire out of cartoons tires and chicken wire. Now I'm queen of my own compost heap, and I'm getting used to the smell. But I've had a lack of inhibition. I've had a little revelation, and I'm climbing up on the railing, trying not to look down. And I'm gonna do my best swan dive into shark-infested waters.
Into the danger.
Pull out my tampon.
Because you can create whatever reality you want for yourself, and others may warn you, they may hold you back, they may say this isn't what you should be doing, do not dive headfirst in the shark-infested waters. And oftentimes it can come from a very good place, a concerned place that wants you to do well and not maybe blow your whole life up in one direction or the other. But sometimes those same pieces of advice come from people whose ego is attached to your success or downfall. I think in the case of the former rather than the latter, it's nice to incorporate others' opinions of you into your life, but at the end of the day, it is your life, and you're not going to just take their perspectives over your own. You're going to refactor your thinking given all of the opinions of your loving others, but you're not going to allow your life to be dictated by them entirely either. So the way I'm kind of taking this song now is, I have this loving feeling in my heart about who I am, and I want to be able to cradle myself, but the outside world isn't going to be able to give that to me. I can only take it for myself, and to do that, I need to dive in to those waters and adventure and just be who I am, be myself, thereby getting my feet wet and discovering then who I am.
Shark-infested waters, I wanna pull out my tampon and just start splashing around. 'Cause I don't care if they eat me alive. I've got better things to do than survive. I've got the memory of your warm skin in my hands, and I've got a vision of blue, yeah, blue sky and dry land.
Self-soothing,
and the ship is pitching and heaving,
holding yourself afloat despite it all.
And I think that this is one thing I understood. I just need a couple of vaccinations for my faraway vacation. I'm gonna go ahead, go boldly, 'cause a little bird told me jumping is easy, falling is fun. Right up till you hit the sidewalk, shivering and stunned. And they can call me crazy if I fail.
Wow, what a line. The jumping is easy, but falling is fun right up until you hit the sidewalk, right? Implying you're falling to your deletion. But it's also less morbid than that when applied to the simple things in life, right? If something is fearful to you and you may fail at it, well, maybe expect to hit that sidewalk and realize that hitting that sidewalk in this moment may be okay because you can learn from it and grow from it. And failure is just a stepping stone to success, right? If you listen to like the average business coach or whatever. And something that I've always thought of is I would rather fail at something that I'm putting my heart and soul into than to fail at something I don't care anything about. Because then it's not me. And my failures and my successes all define me. But the thing is, I don't need to let the failures dictate my life, because the failures are there to present newfound information. They give me the opportunity to improve myself. And I should welcome and embrace those failures and just do something. And there's this other idiom, perfection is the enemy of the good. And oftentimes I succumb to even this feeling of not wanting to put something out there, not wanting to do something because I feel like it is not perfect, therefore I need to wait. But the waiting is actually preventing you from achieving success, because it's okay to not be perfect on the first pass and iterate on yourself and improve in the direction closest towards your goals. Even though it is scary, you can still dip your toe into that water rather than hypothesize or pontificate on how that water is going to feel. You can do that. You can go in with a bit of planning, but then do it. You get my point?
And they can call me crazy if I fail. All the chance that I need is 1 in a million, and they can call me brilliant if I succeed.
Right.
But gravity is nothing to me. I'm moving at the speed of sound.
Reminds me of John Mayer.
I just swore to get my feet wet here till I drown. Just gonna get my feet wet here till I drown. I'm just gonna get my feet wet here till I drown. Till I
Reminds me a bit of Dave Matthews here. Beautiful. I love the messages in so much of her work as well, because she is another human like the rest of us, and seeing the way that society is going, she is concerned, and she thinks about others, she thinks about herself, and it's all conveyed through her empathy in her emotions, even in her conversations there with the NPR people. You can tell that at the forefront of her mind is the wellness of everyone. And that is a rare quality, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are very openly selfish, and there's no problem in being selfish per se, but when being selfish is at the cost of others is when you have to draw the line and realize what your actions and thoughts and things that you say are doing to other people and to yourself. It's not only with interpersonal relationships, it's also within the personal relationship you have with yourself. Because if you consider you as another person, even though you have your own ego and mind attached to who you are, you can still converse with yourself. And there was a really interesting video I watched a while back about just the levels of consciousness. And then recently too, I reacted to a song called The 4 Levels of Consciousness. But in this video, it was discussed all of the different levels of consciousness and empathy and what it takes to reach enlightenment. And so much of it involves our ability to contend with ourselves and others in the world, becoming the observer to the self, understanding that yes, this thing is happening to you, but it's not really happening to you. It's happening to the idea of you, and the idea of you comes from the idea you have of yourself as well. And it's an amalgamation of then how others may perceive you and how you react, and this very dynamic system becomes almost infinitely complicated, but we can simplify it by saying we ought to do the best for ourselves and everybody else at the same time as a consequence of doing what's right by the self. That's why I view the approach to fixing a lot of societal issues as being one of self-improvement, and through that self-improvement we can slowly positively influence the lives of others around us, leading with love, leading with peace and positivity. There's so much that we can accomplish and have yet to accomplish. It's exciting, but it's also a bit sad that we have to do this all the time because it feels like we have so much of a hill to climb, but hey, I'm here for the good fight. I hope you guys are as well. But yeah, that was a really fun triple reaction from Annie DiFranco. We got to hear those 3 different songs: Dithering, Playing God, or I guess Play God, and Swan Dive. 3 fun tracks with a beautiful arrangement with the keys player, with the violin, the drums, and the backing vocals to support Annie. It kind of allowed her to step back from her very active role in being the lead percussive player and melodic player and rhythmic player, and just focus on the singing, focus on the delivery and her presence overall. And she mastered it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did and would like to request more Annie DiFranco reactions, or any other artist for that matter, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.